Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vigors. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm alright, nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. Now I'm looking, say, take flight, nigga. Yo, welcome the fuck back to It Is What It Is. The show is sponsored by our motherfucking niggas, Underdog Fantasy. The app's a cool way to make some cash while placing a couple dollars on some of your favorite players. Now, you know where the app's available, right? In over 30 states. Big boy states, pause. Super big boy states, pause. You know what they are: Cali, New York, Florida, Texas. That's just to name a few. Make sure you download the app and subscribe to the show. I'm your host / analyst, Killer Cam, KFC, King Jaffe Joe, Spacely Sprockets, or you might just know me as Cameron Giles, along my partner in crime, M.A$E, Murder Mase, Mase Mussolini, or you just may know him as Mason Beta. Good morning, man. How you doing?
What's good,
That's
Killer?
how you doing.
That was good. You getting better.
Well, you're a natural, man. I'm just a natural, you know.
Yeah.
Niggas, the intros be like cool the last couple of days,
they said
man.
you're doing good, you know?
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad we both back in the studio, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Now you got explanation for yesterday? Because I listened to the song, I thought niggas was capping. The third verse. Here you go. I knew it. Because I thought the nigga was lying. I need to be the third verse. It's about the song 312. And then he said, she like ice down my butt cheeks. She start to wiggle. I start to giggle. I say, my brother though, man. 6 million
that
records. In 96.
That was
that was AI. Well, good, man. All jokes aside, I'm happy to see you, nigga. You already know. A lot went on. We discussed yesterday in free agency. A lot more moves happened as well. As we all know by now, Klay Thompson has signed with the Dallas Mavericks for $50 million, 3 years. Third year is an option. Where do you think this puts Dallas in the Western Conference? Also, I said that he would go to Dallas or Golden State, either or. That's what I said. I don't know if he wants to say he said it first. Are you on the fight today?
No, I said Orlando. I said Orlando.
Okay. I thought we was going to start the show off with a little fight. All right, cool.
I might have said the Mavs.
I knew it.
I don't know for sure, but I ain't going that far in it. But pause. When I think of Klay Thompson going to Dallas, first of all, congratulations, Mark Cuban, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Luka, Sham God, Jason Kidd, everybody up there in Dallas land. This could be the piece that they needed, to really think about it. Pause. This could really be the piece that they needed, because when they were, slashing and going to the basket, you need somebody moving around trying to get the ball, and that will create some synergy to make people guard somebody so they're not just standing around waiting for the ball. And I think he brings a tremendous amount of championship pedigree to that team. Not that Kyrie didn't have it, but it's reinforcement when you're playing with somebody who have a couple of those rings. And I think he'll be superb, even for the locker room. I think he'll do well in the city of Dallas. And this was a steal. And I even like the fact that Klay Thompson, kind of trolled Stephen Curry by saying, "Now you're the best shooter on the Golden State Warriors."
He said that?
Yeah, he tweeted that or texted, whatever. But that was a great
statement. Their friendship, I like their friendship. I love their friendship. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we all knew this wasn't gonna happen. I've been keeping up with been going on in free agency and seeing people's comments and what people have been talking about and so on and so forth. And I seen Richard Jefferson say yesterday that he bumped into Klay Thompson at Christmas, this Christmas that just passed, and you know, for the NBA games or what have you, wherever they was having their games. And he said, Klay, what's up? Keep your head up. And Klay Thompson told him, yeah, they need to give me my money and I will. That was Christmas.
Yeah.
That's during the season. So this is how long that Klay's probably been unhappy, probably longer than that. It may explain some of the reason why he hasn't played so well. Maybe he was thinking about that all year. When you sit there and see Wiggins get $100+ million, and then you see Draymond get his $100+ million. Then they even took care of Jordan Poole, even though he's traded, and he's back up to bat. He probably wanted more respect. I think that's why Bob Myers got out of here. But at the same time, what we didn't talk about Mase yesterday, because we was just trying to make sure we was up to date with everything else, is that he got $100 million over 3 years, and 2 of the years that he got $67 million of that, he was hurt. He didn't even play. Last year, one of his worst seasons, he still made $43 million. So I think they paid him for the times he wasn't that good or not available or either or, and they showed their loyalty at the point.
That's a good point.
Right. But now they're feeling like, Klay, you didn't have the best year. Where you going to show us a little bit of love? But at the same time, we got, you know, it's so many layers to this situation, because you got to think about this. Even Klay on a down year is better than some niggas' years, period. You know, 39% from the field and still averaging 18 points. That's a dream season for certain people. Now, I know we're going to hold Klay to a higher expectation because he's Klay Thompson, half of the Splash Brothers. So it's a bunch of layers. But as far as Dallas, congratulations. Mase laid it out to the whole team. You know, Sham, the Mark Cuban, the Jason Kidd, and not only championship experience with Kyrie Irving, championship experience with Jason Kidd as a player as well. And, you know, a wonderful job coaching thus far. So we'll see what happens. And I like I said, this may be the missing piece, because me and Mase alluded to several times especially during the championship. They needed
another scorer.
Definitely another scorer, but what we alluded to is that the fact that the offense is still, when either Kyrie has it or Luka has it, you can see them just go to the other side of the floor. And with Klay, if they keep a little bit of motion, set a few picks, he should get some wide open shots. I think that he's going to be very motivated this season, just because it was transpired the last season. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and he got his money now. You got your money now, Klay. You got to hit some baskets. You got no excuses not to, you know, get 3 or 4 threes a game. And then especially with Kyrie ISO, Luka ISO, you definitely will get a lot of spot-up shots. And probably even more than he got in Golden State in the early years, because they're slashers by nature. So he's going to have a lot of open looks.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It is going to be very, very disappointing not to see him in the Golden State Warriors uniform. But, you know, their time was up, and it is what it is. Let me ask you this, moving on. What do you think this says about the Golden State Warrior organization? Where does that leave the Golden State Warriors? Or are they going to take care of Steph Curry, making sure he has some decent pieces around him? Because right now, Klay Thompson went from a team that didn't make the playoffs to the Western Conference champion.
Yeah. I think when it comes to Klay Thompson being off of that team and Golden State now, it looks like a rebuild, even though people are not ready to say that. If you take Wiggins off of this team, because they're going to have to get rid of Wiggins now, and then you got Klay off of that team, the only 2 players you really have on that team is going to be Draymond. Draymond could get teched out of the game, and Steph. So right now, what it does for them is a complete rebuild. But I think they try to move a lot of salaries off of there so they could bring in some new talent. But I'm not quite sure how that talent will gel when you got somebody that shoot like Stephen Curry. Not that he missed much, but you need the right players to play with that kind of player. Like, you got to have a tall guy who could bring up the ball to kind of balance out who he is as a shooter. But definitely, you know, this entire team is like in shambles to me. now we will find out how good of a coach that Stephen Kerr is and the organization. I think what you said before this cleared it up for me, because if I didn't have that information, I would be thinking, come on, man, you did this for everybody else. You got to take care of Clay, but not thinking about how Clay was hurt those 2 years. That balances out. It's like, my nigga, I don't owe you nothing.
Right.
I paid you that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you were saying that. Because before that, I was like, nah, they paid Poole, they paid Wiggins, they even got Draymond his money. Now they setting up Steph. You got to pay Clay. But to think that he was hurt 2 years, I forgot about his knee. And, he had a real ACL. Yeah, he had a real healthy contract while that was going on, too. He was making a lot of money. And they couldn't do things because of that. So now it was his turn. It was his turn to say, you know what? I'll take this, but pause, he didn't take it.
Yeah, totally agree. I don't know.
And Bob Myers knew that he wasn't going to be able to give him that money.
Bob Myers knew all this was happening. Bob Myers is like a future caller, bro. I said this before. I actually said this on
you did
on shout out to my niggas on Matt Barnes and Stack 5 show. And I said this when he asked me about the Golden State Warriors when I was on their show. And I was like, yo, that's why Bob Myers got out of there. He actually cares about these niggas. And he's like, I'm not going to be the one to tell niggas they can't get what they supposed to get or what they feel they should get, because it has to be business at the end of the day. So as far as the Golden State Warriors are concerned, Mase made a great point. They may not want to admit it or may not want to say it, but it's close to almost rebuilding. Look, I don't see any significant add-ons yet. Thus far, we have plenty of time left. But if they didn't make it to the playoffs last year with Clay, and it's nobody there that's going to replace Clay or even close to Clay's caliber, I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Unless Steph Curry's going to go absolutely crazy out of his mind, which he has the potential to do, but it's going to be a tall task to ask Steph Curry. But I like Golden State. I like their organization. Every great team goes through this. We see what the San Antonio Spurs are going through right now. You had champions, they get older, they retire, you're not as good as you used to be. And you have to rebuild. Only it's certain franchises that don't even like the word rebuild. Boston, there's no time to be playing a rebuild game. The Lakers, it's no time to be playing a rebuild game. And outside of those two, those are only two that actually, to me, except for the Golden State Warriors, as of recent, has stood the test of time over decades.
Yeah.
At least 1 or 2 times per decade, they make it to the championship.
And Miami is another one that has kind of been kind of consistent all these years. And it's just like you don't want to be in a rebuild, because a rebuild doesn't have to go well when you're rebuilding it. I remember when they was bringing in how do you say his name, Oladipo and all of that?
Victor Oladipo?
Yeah, when he went to Orlando, and it looked like they was about to turn that around, and then it wasn't. Then they got somebody else, and it wasn't. Is a lot of times rebuilds don't go the way people think, and they think, oh, we back after this. No, just like when Philly, when they first got Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz, and it looked like it was going to be the process, and then that didn't go well. So a lot of times a rebuild doesn't go well. So you got to keep that in mind.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Paul George left the Clippers as fucking expected. Signed a 4-year, $53 million a year deal with the 76ers. Mase, where does this put the 76ers in the Eastern Conference right now?
Right now, this is challenging, because most people are going to say number 2, but then you have to ask yourself, if they're number 2, where are the Knicks? I think they tied with the Knicks at number 2 right now for me, because I think it'll take a while for them to gel, but they have a better way of gelling probably than New York, but I still got them tied too. I just can't put them over New York right now. Because something always go funny for the Sixers. I don't know, for some reason. And they're in that same boat with New York. Once you start losing to the team who have the ultimate jinx on them, then I don't know where to put y'all. Something happened with Joel's health. Then now we're talking about Paul George. I'm just not sure of that. Like on paper, it seems great, but I don't know about it yet. I really can't go with that. It looks great though. Pause on paper. On paper, it looked like they should come out of the East or be right there at the East. But then we got Milwaukee gonna have something to say about that, and definitely Boston gonna be strong again. So they could be tied for 2, tied for 3.
Right now, I got them a little ahead of the Knicks at number 2, and potentially number 1 if they can stay healthy, which has been a problem. Like you just said, it's always a problem with these motherfuckers staying healthy. And if Joel Embiid could be the MVP that he was the year before last, Paul George, believe it or not, has been sustainable the last year and a half throughout his career. You know, Kawhi's the one that's always been getting hurt, and Paul George is one of them guys that miss games too, and playoff games. But he's been very sustainable. Tyrese Maxey, not enough that we could say about him. Young guy, up and coming, is really Paul George and Joel Embiid staying healthy. Now, all bets are off if they're not healthy.
Yeah.
If they're not healthy, then it is what it is. So
with a healthy Sixers and a healthy Milwaukee, you got them over Milwaukee?
At the present time, I got them over Milwaukee right this very second, because if we're going, we can offset Joel Embiid and the Greek Freak. Right now, until further notice, as much as I fuck with Damian Lillard, that's my time, my homeboy, Dame Time, et cetera, Tyrese Maxey looks like a faster, younger, better point guard at the particular moment. Dame, we all know, going through problems, et cetera. But he said he's coming back with, and niggas will see.
It was all good just a week ago.
Yeah, Dame Lillard said he's coming back, and he's going to show niggas that what he was going through was personal. So I can't wait to see that. But right now, as presently constructed, I'm going with Tyrese Maxey. And then if we're putting Chris Middleton against Paul George,
yeah,
I'm going with Paul George. Everybody else got to play their positions.
What about the Pistons? They got Tobias Harris.
Yeah, we actually have to have a topic, because I want to talk about his agent. That nigga need to work for us. That nigga, whoever Tobias Harris, hey, I got that on our list of topics, because I want a personal conversation with your agent. That nigga's spectacular. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I was just playing.
Nah, it's all good, but that's a fact. But at the end of the day, they got Kelly Oubre back. They added Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
They're looking like they're gonna have a decent bench.
Where was Eric Gordon? Was on
the Suns.
The Suns.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they added Eric Gordon. They're looking like they getting loaded up and getting ready to go. Don't get me wrong. If you could be 100% right, because if the Knicks get it right, they're right behind Boston, in my opinion, too. Mm-hmm. But if we're going everybody healthy, et cetera, I got the Sixers a little bit over the Knicks. I'm thinking to myself, Joel Embiid averaged 32, 33 points on one leg and with one eye against the Knicks in the playoffs. An outstanding series. But we see what was going on. He had the palsy. I don't want to say the wrong kind, but one eye, one leg hurt, et cetera. And he was a problem, a real problem. I like the adding of, the re-sign of OG Anunoby. I love Mikal Bridges there. Look, the Knicks are going to have a lot to say about this. They're going to have a lot to say about it. And sometimes you don't need the superstars. Mase, you could be 100% right. They got three, at least two superstars. And we could definitely call
Mikal.
Maxey, I'm talking about.
Oh.
I'm talking about the Sixers.
Yeah.
Joel's a superstar. Paul George, all-star / superstar. Maxey, he's on the way to superstardom. But I'm talking about the Knicks.
Yeah.
It's more chemistry. It's only superstar they got is Jalen Brunson. And everybody else is kind of, high-class role players. I'm not disrespecting, but, You know,
I like that though. High class role
they
play.
high class role
That means
players.
on the right day they can get it done. Pause. They can take the team to another level.
Right. And them, you know, not re-signing Harstein. We're gonna see about that. We're gonna talk about that in a few too. But I just wanted to know what you felt about that. Before we move on, what do you think? Do you think that? How do you consider the project that they called Paul George and Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers? Was it a good thing or was it a bad thing? Did it move the organization forward? What would you grade this Paul George Kawhi Leonard project on an A to F?
To me, it would be like a C-, because the anticipation was too high for what it is that they were able to accomplish. I don't think they came close to what they were supposed to accomplish. They never got a Western Conference debut. They never got that to be in the finals. They never got to be in the Western Conference Finals. And when you got 3 future, or some people, maybe 4 future Hall of Famers, there's no way, and a Hall of Fame coach, potentially, you're not supposed to underachieve this low. I mean, you got James Harden, you got Russell Westbrook, you got Paul George, and you got Kawhi Leonard. So even when you have those two and you add James Harden later on, even in their career of that time together, it was way too low of what they were able to achieve, because these are supposed to be 2 of the best two-way players. When you think about Paul George and you think about Kawhi Leonard, these are supposed to be 2 of the players that could play the wing and guards the wings. And it just seemed like they were resting too much. That's what I really think the problem was. They was doing too much of that, what they call it, low management, where I'm going to stay out this game and we're going to be ready for the playoffs. And it just seemed like they was never ready when the playoffs came. So I couldn't give it any higher than a C-.
I'm giving it an F. You passed them. They definitely failed to me. 100% F, niggas. Y'all, yeah. And the F stands for fucked up, failed, and whatever bad other shit starts with the letter F. They won 3 playoff series in 5 years. They haven't won one since 2021. You just said it. The expectation was out the window for this team.
Everybody was like, yo, they got Paul George and Kawhi.
It was crazy. Yeah. You know, Kawhi had the New Balance sneakers. They did the big campaign, the new team in L.A. He's the new nigga in L.A. He's from L.A. trying to basically discredit the Lakers and LeBron, and shit just didn't pan out. 3 playoff series wins in 5 years, and none since 2021. That is a guarantee F for me. That shit failed, and it didn't work out.
Yeah. You know and they jacked the Nautica logo, so y'all definitely get a D-.
Yeah, like you can't pass them niggas. Them niggas are passing grade. That shit is murder. I ain't gonna pause them for the D-, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, they got an F, man. They got an F, B, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That shit was a complete failure. It was one time what I was about to say during the season last season where we was like, yo, they actually not like we were. They were the #1 seed in probably January for like a week or so.
Yeah.
But we were actually talking about, can the Clippers win a championship? And if the Clippers win a championship, will they be considered, will we consider
LA's new team?
No, not definitely LA's new team, but no, what we were saying was that could the best basketball players in the world be from the LA area? Because you had Kawhi Leonard from Compton, Russell Westbrook from Long Beach, James Harden from LA, and Paul George from LA. And we was like, yo, these niggas might be the best ballers in the world. And
I guess we answered that with New Jersey.
Yeah.
And overseas.
Yeah. So it is what it is, man. Before we move on, though, from, sorry about that, the Sixers extended Tyrese Maxey's contract, a maximum extension, 204 years. Also brought back Kelly Oubre, 2-year deal, $16 million. What do you think about these moves, Mase, for the Sixers?
I love what the Sixers were able to do, pause, with this team and being able to secure all the players that's necessary to put them in title contention. Because if once you lock in Maxey, then everything else is downhill because he's really the engine of this team. And when your stars are happy, you're gonna play better. You know, we just looked at that when it came to Klay Thompson. Way in January, that could have been a Christmas game, or coming into the new year, and you got people that are storybook players that's not excited about the franchise. That's only gonna spew into the other people that are there. So, you know, when Maxey gets paid, it makes everything great. We saw that with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown got paid. They won a championship. Why? Because when your star players are happy, they're going to communicate with other players. So whatever they're communicating, whether it's good, whether it's I don't really want to be here, whether it's what are you doing this summer, whatever they talking about is going to begin to channel down to the other people. So Maxey getting paid is going to be, it's like a coach off the floor talking to other people. Yo, let's get in the gym because he got paid. Now he wants to win. He's talking to Oubre. Oubre got paid. Now he wants to win. Joel Embiid Ben wanted to win. And then you get somebody like Paul George shows up. It's like, yo, we got enough motivation to do it. Because when it comes to winning, I mean, you know this, Killer. There's never been somebody that won that didn't have momentum. Momentum is the sign you're going to win. Most times before you win, you got momentum. You'll rarely see a team win that had no momentum, or like the young niggas say, motion. If you ain't got no motion, you're not going to win. So him getting the money put them in motion.
Oh, yeah. This wasn't a shocker. They'd be stupid not to pay Tyrese Maxey. That'd just be one of the dumbest moves in fucking history from a GM. And we already know that GM's not an asshole, pause. As far as Kelly Oubre, I guess that's a good price for Kelly Oubre. I have a lot of high expectations. Every time I seen Kelly Oubre with the Wizards, or when he's with Golden State, or even with the Sixers, and he doesn't show up when it counts. He has great games sporadically throughout the season when you be like, nah, if this nigga get it together, these niggas could take it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, don't get me wrong, this is a great price you got him at. You can't beat the price, but it's like, to me, he's not that one that you could be like, okay, if we sit everybody, because, get some rest, could he make us win tonight against the Wizards? No, I don't think so. I don't think
he's
so.
He's a great six-man on a championship team. And sometimes people have to know where you have to be placed in order to win a championship. On a championship team, he's a six-man. He's 15 pounds, pause away from being a better player. He gotta definitely hit the gym and get stronger, because for the position that he plays, the things he like to do, he can't keep that up 82 games when you're slim and you're like that. Even Jordan did it. Once Jordan got stronger, the game became easier. And I think this generation could definitely take a page out of that book. We saw that with LeBron. The first year he came in, he was Paul's lanky. He at the gym. He just started dominating the league, and he's been doing it ever since, because that's a part of being a great athlete. And I don't think enough players take their strength and condition, their conditioning they take serious, but not their strength.
Oh, yeah, listen, he still has plenty of time. It seems like he's been in the league forever, but he came in when he was young. He's not even 30 yet, so he has plenty of time to improve on his game. But you don't want to be 32, 33 years old in the same position he's in now, pause. You got to think about this right now for him, not saying only, I'm thinking about the 28-year-olds in the NBA grabbing 100, 200, 150, 125. For him to be 28 years old and so athletic, so gifted, Mase may be correct when it comes to strength and conditioning. I just think that you need to work on, I'm not even doing all that. I just think you need to work on your craft, situational moments. And when I say situational moments, a lot of times these players that we watch put themselves in situational moments. What we gonna do with 10 seconds left down 2? What we gonna do with a minute left and we down 6? What can we do? And when I say situational moments, a lot of people aren't ready for situational moments. As much as Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or whoever we may think of, I use Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Situational moments means Steve Kerr, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
You got to be ready, Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that. You know, yo, Michael Jordan again. Yo, Paxson, you got to be ready.
Could he be Scotty, though?
No, absolutely no. I'm trying to be nice. Come on. No, he absolutely can't be Scotty.
You waved off Jordan. I'm trying to see if he could be Scotty.
What I'm saying is this: if the game come down and you got these stars, you got Paul George, Maxey, Joel Embiid, they're all obligated. You can't get the ball to them, whatever. If it go to Oubre, are you comfortable? If you're a Sixers fan, that's what I'm asking you. Is your level of comfortability with the game on the line? Okay, that's the question I'm asking. Even with Kobe, Derek Fisher, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if he has that for the Sixers, but you made a great point. He would definitely be a great sixth man on the championship team.
Yeah, because he can come in and get 12 points, the 10 points we needed to beat the team, you know?
Right.
And a lot of that, I'm telling you, got to do with his strength, because you look at, and I'm not comparing him to Kobe, but we're talking about wing players. You look at a slim Kobe versus Kobe after he hit the waist. Look at Jordan slim, Jordan after he hit the waist. Every time somebody went to the weight room, their game became more aggressive. Right now, he have acrobatics, but even his acrobatics, he'll be able to finish at the rim and one. He'll be able to
like
be
the
more
greatest
durable.
American hero with his shit, though.
Yeah.
He'll just crash because sometimes his shit don't go right, yo. You know, nigga who mad athletic, but the coordination ain't right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he one of those people that was supposed to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like when he was in college, they thought he was gonna be that one.
Yeah, like, well, it's not turned out to be that. You finished with him? Pause.
Yeah, pause. Then you gotta hit the gym. You gotta hit the gym for real, for real. I mean, everybody I could think of that was the case. Westbrook hit the gym. James Harden hit the gym. They're not. He still got his the college body. He got to grow into man strength.
He's 28 years old with a college body. He got to take. That's just ridiculous. You haven't been in college in a long time. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying you need to take obligation and nigga. If Mase is correct in saying this is your problem, you should have been in the gym. I'm not going to say that because I don't know.
No, that's a better game. Like D-Wade, when D-Wade came from Marquette and then he hit the gym, he was a different nigga. It's like you're in the league now. You with grown men. So you got to develop to that kind of player. So he's still trying to do all of those little moves. And it's like if you strong, you take the slap, and go in one. You know what I'm saying? Because you're that much stronger than everybody. But he never grew into that, and it will be a great addition to his game. Everybody that goes to the next level hit the gym.
Well, I don't even think he's at that level to where he needs to hit the gym yet. You just need to get better, nigga. Mase may be right. You may need strength, but you gotta get better.
He can shoot, right?
Sometimes that's my point.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting him with the last shot. I done see him fuck up on mad times when niggas in Golden State. That year, when Golden State niggas kept getting injured, it was like, okay, let's see what Kelly could do. And he didn't fucking take matters into his own hands.
He's a streaky shooter.
Yeah.
They got to do with his strength and conditioning. Just like when he goes to the rack, the reason why he's not consistent is because niggas is changing his shot because he can't take the bump and get the basket.
Man, I don't even consider him a streaky shooter. I consider J.R. Smith a streaky shooter. That's a streaky shooter. J.R. Smith. Shout out to the homie. That nigga, he could light you up, or he could shoot you out. One or the other. That's a streaky shooter. Kelly Oubre just needs to get better all the way around the board.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go to break, Jason Tatum signs a max extension with the Boston Celtics, $314 million for 5 years. Mase, this is an unprecedented contract. What do you have to say about it?
He proved it this year. We was on his case. You was on his case most of the year, saying that they got to do it this year. I was in agreement with you that, you know what, if you don't win this year, it doesn't matter. Anything you do at this point. And for them to come in and win the championship, and not only did they win the championship, he understood the assignment, and the assignment was, I have to allow Jaylen Brown to be Batman in order for us to win this championship. And whenever people make the necessary adjustments in the necessary time to get the necessary championship, you can only take your hat off to that. So I think that's why they're paying them the big bucks. They looking at their future. They said, if we could win right now with how young our superstars are, we can get a few more championships. I would only imagine that's what they're thinking. And again, they're making their stars happy. So Tatum has to be happy, just like he couldn't, even though he didn't get the MVP, they couldn't allow Jaylen Brown to have gotten more money than he did. So, you know, they opened up the checkbook, and rightfully so. There was nobody else to pay more than it was to pay Jason Tatum.
Yep, well-deserved. Congratulations on the most in NBA history. Look, just turned 26 years old. The future's bright. I can imagine what his contract's going to look like when this one is up. With the collective bargain agreement, the salary cap going up, he might fuck around and get a $500 million contract by the time his next contract comes up. So congratulations, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum actually DM'd me, and he didn't see a text or anything like that you were talking about. I actually have a real DM from Jason Tatum, and he said, "Yo, he trying to holler at us when he come through here, but I have a real. I don't have to look for it neither. I could just pull it up. I ain't gonna put our business out there, JT. But this nigga be acting like y'all be texting each other.
What do you mean y'all business?
You can turn it into a joke all you want.
I don't care about that.
Why you mad at me when you the one who said you be texting? How you mad at me?
Put your business out there.
Yeah, because it's America watching. It ain't just me and you.
What is your business?
You act like it's just me and you. We have several people watching.
What is your business?
Whatever
that
makes you feel better. It doesn't
what
sound,
is your business?
Whatever makes you feel better, Mase. I'm just telling you that he said he didn't speak to you and that you was making it up. And he said he doesn't have any increment or anything as I have a sight and a picture, anything of you around Titletown. You never was there. That's what I heard. So
he said I never was in Titletown. I never
seen you in Titletown. And
where's Titletown?
I never been there. No, you got to ask Jason Tatum. Guess that's where the champions at. But they have no increments. They have the record, except you've never been there. So shout out to JT.
Shout out to Nelly. I'm going to let him live. St. Louis.
How you mad at a nigga that just say he didn't speak to you?
But he don't declare Titletown.
Okay.
Titletown is my town.
All right, my bad.
And we invited him to Titletown.
My fault. I ain't know. I thought niggas who win titles live in Titletown. I guess you Vince McMahon. You must be Vince McMahon of the whole shit.
Yeah, shout out to Tatum. He got his championship, you know. Okay. It's talking crazy. He should be.
Yeah, listen. Right here. Yeah, congrats to JT. Boston Celtics, they're the only team to me that didn't have to do anything but make sure their players were secure, and the rest of the league needs to get prepared for them because they're not just the best team on the East, they're the best team in the NBA, and it wasn't even close this season. Right now, we got to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Boston Celtics. Stay tuned.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it, wanna be free. Why am I here this woman wanna be free? Hell, I don't wanna see her walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, and it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. Right now it's time for our underdog fantasy picks. Mase, tonight, the Fevers play the Aces. Pretty good game. Caitlin Clark, 16.5 points. Higher or lower?
Higher. She got to turn up against the Aces because her rep is on the line. She can gain back a little bit more credibility by doing well against the Aces.
I'm going to go lower because I think it's right at 16, my opinion. She's having some outstanding assists lately. Her team is catching up to where, and I'm not saying just as good, but they're all starting to get a little bit of cohesiveness. I think she's going to be right at 16 points. So I'll go with lower for that. Another one, Caitlin Clark, 13.5 rebounds and assists. Higher or lower?
Lower.
I thought it was my goal. I can't win. I don't know what the fuck yesterday.
I thought you was asking me the question. My bad.
I was asking both of us.
I thought you was
yesterday
asking me
you got
first.
mad talking about, yo, it's your go now.
It is your go.
Can't win up here, man. I'm going to go higher.
Yeah, lower.
Okay. And Asia Wilson's at 41.5 points, assists, and rebounds. Higher or lower?
Lower. I think she'll have a great game, but I'm not going 40.
I'm going to go lower, too. She looked like she been on a tear.
Yeah.
The last 3-4 games I'm seeing.
The jump shot look crazy.
Spin and roll, her triple threat, pivot. Yo, that girl has the full package, man. Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all download the Underdog Fantasy app and also subscribe to the show. Back with more Boston. That's what we're going to discuss. They also re-signed Derek White, key piece of the championship as well. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say about that?
Derek White has been a consistent contributor way before even Drew Holiday. I think he's like that. He's that player that every championship team has, whether it's was that Bruce Brown?
Yeah.
Bruce Brown. Mm-hmm. Or Dwight Howard on the Lakers. Every championship team has that player who just rises to the occasion that you called an upscale role player.
Right, high class upscale.
Yeah, high class
role player.
High class role
right.
player.
He's definitely
that he's a role player, but any night he can grab 30, he can get 20.
And that's the kind of question, not to double back and be into a fucking revolving door, but this is the role play I was saying Kelly Oubre isn't.
Yeah,
that's all I was trying to say. It's a great way.
No, that's right, because that is all relative, because in the conversation, that's what we're trying to clarify to people on this show. It is what it is. We're trying to give the insight that people do not give. Right. You know, and when I look at somebody like White, he's gonna be around a while, because what he does, he can do for a long time. Pause is like Chauncey Billups. Mm-hmm. It's not a game where it requires a lot of athleticism. Like sometimes people think the guy with the great athleticism is going to be around longer. No, he's probably going to be around shorter, because that athleticism, once it goes, he's going to have to adapt to a new game.
Right.
But the game that White is playing, he can play that game a long time, because he's not jumping that high off the ground. He's not super fast. He just plays the game the right way. He comes off the pick, make the shot, defend correctly, don't take any chances. He's not going to beat you, pause, by something he did wrong, but he will beat a team by what he did right. So I think this is a phenomenal just moment, even for basketball, because even somebody like him, he's probably like from a D2 or D3 school. And to say that you made it this far from being undrafted to on a championship team and now about to get paid, this is This is different. The last person I saw do this was Scottie Pippen.
Shout out to Derek White, well deserved. Yes. Boston, and I'm not comparing the franchises because to be honest with you, it's really no comparison. But Boston is doing what Denver didn't. And when I say that, bring back the key players that help you get a championship. Last year, they let Bruce Brown go.
Yeah.
That could have been effective to why y'all didn't go to the championship. This year that just passed. Now you let Pope go. And you're signing your superstar players, but you're not signing the role players. Also, I didn't mention because I didn't look at my notes, but I should have said it. He's not only re-signing with Boston, they're paying him. Yeah. He's getting $126 million for 4 years. And actually, today's his birthday. He turns 30 years old today. The hell of a fucking birthday present. You win a championship and get $126 million. Boston Celtics, it look like they want to win multiple championships, and they're locking in the players that they think help them win multiple championships. So other franchises, I know y'all don't want to go into the luxury tax. I know y'all don't want to pay a bunch of players and y'all don't win. But if you don't have any consistency and continuity, then you're not going to win. Yeah. I think that Boston gets it. One more thing with Boston before we move on from Boston. Porzingis had successful surgery, but he'll miss a good portion of the beginning of the season, Mase. Do you think that this would hurt the Boston Celtics with Porzingis staying out to December or January?
No, not really. Not really. I don't think Porzingis not being around to January is going to hurt them coming back by January, because that's exactly what happened in this series. In this last series with Dallas, he wasn't around for a long time, but when he showed up, he made all of the difference. So they're not going to need to win the championship in January. Long as he's around, right after All-Star and nothing is wrong with his mobility, I think they're right there. They're right there in the Eastern Conference Final again. And I want to stand corrected about White, because he wasn't a D3 player. I confused him with someone else. He's from Colorado, so I just looked that up. I wanted to make sure I made that correction.
Good job, man. Yeah. I'm happy that you did. That's why I have you here. This is not going to hurt Boston whatsoever. Look, this is actually maybe a good thing, and I'm not saying a good thing that anybody has to get surgery hurt at all, but this may be, we're learning that even though I would never want them to cut the season and make it shorter, that these new niggas can't play 82 games. It's just the way it is. It was like a crime not to play 82 games before. But with all the technology, all the medicine, all the trainers, all the dieting, you still can't play 82 games. I'm not talking to one person. I'm talking to a majority of the league. So
what do you think it is?
They got gluten now. I ain't hear gluten in the 90s.
Lactose. These niggas is lactose.
I never heard of gluten until about 3-4 years ago. When the first time you heard of the gluten? These niggas filled up with gluten pores.
Like 4 years.
Yeah, like gluten's some new shit, right? I ain't hear about gluten until about, I'm going to give 4 years tops.
Yeah. It's just like people saying they're lactose intolerant. It's like, you better, man, good.
Nah, I dig the lactose. I be having a little stomach. But gluten in the food? What the fuck is gluten? That ass, though. What is gluten?
What I'm basically trying to say, we were so starving that you couldn't afford to say.
Yeah, we were so hungry, I eat a plate full of gluten. If you had a gluten sandwich, 1991, nigga, I would have ate the whole gluten sandwich, nigga. I don't know what gluten is. You know what's crazy? You know the crazy shit about it?
Good.
That this nigga's laughing, Larry. He called everything gluten-free.
Yeah.
Like he know what gluten is. I said, Larry, what the fuck is gluten? Nigga said, nah, there's some shit in there, killer. I'm telling you that they take out. What's in gluten?
What's gluten? He doesn't know.
It's something in there to like swell up in your something they put in the
bread. I think it's some shit to swell up.
When I eat gluten-free bread, I feel like I don't.
You feel better?
I feel like I don't. It like didn't like I feel light.
Okay,
that's what it does. I guess I don't know. Gotta look it up though.
Nah, because he ordered the gluten-free everything gluten-free with Larry. And then he told me, it's some shit, killer, I feel better. I said, if you feel better, that's all that really counts, to tell the truth. But
So you don't eat pasta or anything like that if it's not gluten-free?
Nah, I try to eat
everything gluten-free.
Cookies, everything now. Because I feel like, yeah.
Why eat
you ever eat a sandwich and then you like, man,
why eat cookies if you don't want the gluten?
I'm just saying it's gluten-free.
You eat the cake gluten-free.
I'm gonna get you some
goodness.
Cookies.
All right. Well, look, back to the original topic. I don't think this is going to affect them. It might work out for him. Porzingis is not healthy for a whole season, period. So for him to sit out, and I know you need to get reps and basketball shape and et cetera, but maybe these niggas is built for just a half a season. Maybe they some half a season ass niggas. But what we did see, even Porzingis off a break, an impact he can make in his first game back like he did in the championship, because he's out for over a month and came back and made an impact and was a really key figure in win the championship overall. I think he missed a game or maybe two, but the 3 games that he did play or the 4 games that he did play, he's sensational. I don't think this means nothing whatsoever about hurting the Boston Celtics' chances of going back to the championship.
Yeah, this is only a problem if they run up against Philly and he's not there. If they run up against Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals and he's not there, it's a nightmare. But other than that, it's no problem.
Cool. And before we go, Knicks fans are never fucking happy. They're pissed off again. The Knicks are pissed off because Isaiah Hartenstein turned down the Knicks offer, went to OKC for $87 million for 3 years. Sin called me for 4 hours riffing, talking about, I don't understand if we offered him $60 million for 4 years and he get $87 million, and I don't know if that's the offer, but that's what Sin told me on the phone. If we offer him $60 million for 4 years and OKC is getting him for $87 for 3 years, he ain't just being greedy. We found him out the G League. I said, that's ridiculous. Yo, bro, what are you talking about? That's a whole $27 million difference.
Sin, that's called reverse racism. Sin.
Yeah, and not only that, Murder, a whole extra year that, from what he's telling me, because I didn't even check out. Once I seen he went to OKC, I didn't even look to see what the Knicks offered him. $27 million and an extra year difference for him to go to OKC. Now, the Knicks are sensational. They have a great team, and I would have liked Hartenstein to stay there, but the nigga got to go get his money, and it ain't like he ain't go to a bum-ass team talking about, yo, they fucking up camaraderie. Fuck all that, niggas is greedy. Why niggas watching us now? Now niggas want what we got. All that talk about now niggas want what the Knicks got. Look, man, I think y'all did a great job thus far, and it's still not over. I'm talking about the New York Knicks. Leon Rose, pardon me for mispronouncing your name a day or two ago. You know, everybody out on my ass pause talking about this nigga said Jalen Rose. I meant Leon Rose, pardon me, and my nigga Worldwide West. I think they're doing a sensational job. But you can't have everybody. You're not going to be able to get everybody. And it's a great move for Hartenstein because listen, with that move, you could put Chet at the 4 and have him play the 5
That made them dangerous.
Yeah, and they're already the #1 team.
And the Knicks was rolling, but this is like a flat tire for them to not have Isaiah, because just think about if they come back with this team and they got Killer Nova, they got everybody from Villanova, and then you add what's the left hand nigga name?
Bridges or OG Anunoby.
Yeah. And then you bring back this 7-footer. That's a very strong lineup. But then when you take that 7-footer out of that lineup, then it becomes more like small ball, pause. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between being able to play two ways versus one way, right? Then you just become a scrappy little team.
Right.
And now you're back where you were when you ran up against Indiana if something go wrong.
Very true. Sorry, Knicks fans. Y'all a good team. Y'all, no, it was no way y'all was going to be able to keep everybody, man. They did the best that they could. But listen, 87 million to 60 million, if Sin is right, we're definitely right about the 87 million for 3.
Yeah, he's from Germany. He needs his money.
Yeah, Sin doesn't understand that. Not only does he not understand that, and what I told him was this, right?
Yeah.
Not only do you go to OKC as opposed to New York, but just on the business note, the taxes are going to be better in OKC than they are in New York. So he's going to keep a bigger portion of his contract as if he stays in New York. People, y'all just don't pay that no mind. Because, certain niggas, I'm not going to say, because people like, yo, he getting 153 million. If you live in LA, he's not getting 153 million.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get about 45% or 40% of that if you live in LA. So if you're sitting there saying somebody is going to get 25 million, they're going to probably get about 10 before it's all said and done. Maybe 11 or 12 if you're getting a 50% tax bracket. And that's if you're lucky. So we got to stop taking into consideration. You know who told me that when I didn't even know about that? I had no idea how business worked. I was on tour with you. I didn't have a deal. Yeah, I was on tour. And we was in Orlando, and Penny Hardaway was at the show. This when he was Penny. Yeah. Penny was Penny. So he had just did a new deal. I forget what it was for. It might have been like $3 million back then, $4 million. It wasn't a lot of money. It was a lot of money at that time in the 90s. And I was like, damn, you about to get $3 million or whatever it was. He's like, not really. You got to pay half the taxes, so I'm not really going to make that. I said, you got to pay half? I'm just baffled and confused. Like, as a 19-year-old, what do you mean you got to give up half? He said, I give it up immediately, too. I don't even wait because niggas send you to jail for it. I was just confused by the whole shit, and now as a grown man, I understand that. That's why certain teams or certain players, certain not just better, certain players won't probably go to certain places because you have to pay taxes. I remember the IRS came and ran down on Derek Jeter because, of course, he's from New York, but he has a place in Florida, and he didn't do it the right way. He was filing his taxes in Florida without changing his address.
Yeah.
And they say, see, you
can't do that.
You didn't do it right, bro.
Where you stay at? Where's your license?
Yeah. So give us this back money that you owe us. So a lot of people move to different locations because they're like, damn, I'm working my ass off and half my money's being taken. So take that into account when you hear all these reports about this player's getting 200 million, 100 million, 300 million, 85 million, 20 million. Depending on where they're at, they may not get half of that.
Yeah, and if you think about the city they're living in New York, the cost of living is double.
Yes.
LA is triple. So you take that 150, you're looking at, like you said, about 70, 75. You go to OKC, that 150, you're looking at 100 of it.
Right.
Based upon where you're staying at.
Right.
Because the cost of living is much cheaper.
You're right. 100%. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Tobias Harris agent. Whoever the fuck you are, amazing fucking job,
that
nigga.
Is strong.
That nigga's strong, my nigga. You got that nigga. I can't believe it. I don't care if it's the Pistons. Tobias Harris is going to the Pistons for $54 million, 2-year deal. This nigga getting more than Clay?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just fucking ridiculous. I don't care if Clay's going to a championship contender and he's going to the bottom of the league. Listen, Tobias Harris at this point to get $54 million for 2 years, I'm gonna find out your name, nigga. We might got a job for you because I don't know what kind of strings you pulling. Pause, nigga. You were that nigga. Whoever Tobias Harris agent, you were that nigga, man. And listen, I'm gonna say like my nigga Roscoe said, bro, down ATL. Shout out to them niggas down there. Kids, you can still make it. You still got a shot when these niggas average 1.2 points a game. and they running off getting $54 million. Big shout out to you, nigga, because I don't fucking see it. I don't get it. Don't ever give up, kids. Look at Tobias Harris. You look at your PJ Tuckers.
Yeah.
11 options for $11 million. That's my nigga too. Get that chicken, nigga. You look at them and you say, you know what? You can make it. Because they didn't get a lot of playing time. They didn't get any minutes like that. Or not I'm talking about PJ Tucker. Tobias Harris, 6'8", so that get him to $54 million. But for him to make more than Klay Thompson is ridiculous, man. Yep. Yo, so we gonna get out of here. Signing off for my man Murder Mase, gluten-free Larry.
Gluten-free Larry is nuts.
Gluten-free Larry.
For 13 months, that's the name y'all got.
GFL.
GFL.
Yeah, that's the name what we get.
We'll see y'all niggas tomorrow right here on It Is What It Is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two big necks, like when they doing them 2 for $5.